it is not.
Does that mean it shouldn't?
No. Wait a minute, sir.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 sports customs that only exist in America.
This is the Avalanche's first look at the Rats.
For this list, we'll be looking at a mix of customs, traditions, and practices in the world of sport that are most notably present in America. While some of these have been adopted by the country's neighboring country, and there are likely certain exceptions by which a said custom is practiced in another country outside of the continent, we're looking at the ones which are most often present and have been popularized by the United States of America. Which sports custom would you like to see come to Europe? Let us know below. Number 10, tailgating.
Don't just give me just burgers and hot dogs.
We tailgate every game.
Every game
we're here.
I actually like the burn on the Frankfurter.
While certain sports each have their own respective pre-game traditions, nothing comes quite as close to tailgating. Most frequently associated with American football, this practice involves fans prior to the start of a game gathering together outside the team stadium.
Tailgating is the new American social. Maybe we sometimes think of it as a very big block party.
There's music, food, and drinks are served, and even games such as cornhole and beer pong are played. It's essentially one big party for fans taking part in before the game. While such gatherings are not uncommon, the sense of community it brings to football fans is second to none. It's a tradition that will surely never die down.
No matter what the weather, no matter what the day, every Saturday,
Even if it's below zero?
doesn't matter.
Number 9, Gatorade shower. After winning a championship, teams have their set traditions when it comes to celebrating. They may be unique to them or shared across several teams in a league. However, one constant amongst all championship-winning teams in the NFL has been the iconic Gatorade shower.
2 seconds left as the Giants take over. The Giants have won the Super Bowl.
Popularized by a player who dumped the drink on his coach as a prank, how it works is that either during the final seconds of the game or after an NFL team wins the coveted Super Bowl trophy, players will proceed to take a Gatorade cooler from their sideline and throw the liquid from within directly onto their head coach. Coaches probably don't like getting wet, but there's probably no better implication than that. But that's not to say it hasn't happened on other occasions as well.
Finally, time for celebration in Baltimore. Happy New Year! The Ravens are back in the postseason.
Number 8, throwing hats after a hat trick.
And there it is, 800. Alexander Ovechkin has done it. And here come the hats and the team.
The term hat trick is commonplace in a number of sports, especially in soccer. But let's just say hockey takes it on a whole other level. After a player scores 3 goals, many fans will often proceed to throw hats on the ice as a means to honor the accomplishment.
And there you have it, a hat trick for the Oilers captain.
This results in a slight delay of game as arena staff have to go onto the ice and pick them up. But hats aren't the only thing that fans throw onto the ice. Back in the 90s, Florida Panthers fans had a tradition which involved throwing plastic rats onto the ice after their team scored.
My goodness.
Well, this is the heaviest.
Oh.
They added more staff for this game tonight.
And if you think nothing can top that level of weirdness, look no further than when Detroit Red Wings fans threw dead octopuses onto the ice during playoff games. We're not joking.
They thought tossing an octopus would bring good luck. So on April 15, 1952, they did just that at the old Detroit Olympia.
Number 7, cheerleaders. Cheerleading is practiced in several countries across the world, both leisurely and competitively. It's relatively uncommon to find any taking place at professional sports team games. While there have been a few exceptions, it's quite rare to find cheerleaders at such events. In the States, however, now that's a different story. Cheerleaders can be seen far and wide at games, both the professional and collegiate level. Even in a sport like hockey, they come in the form of ice girls. While it's important to note that not every team based in the US has cheerleaders, it remains a wildly popular practice at sporting events. Number 6, commercial breaks.
Kurt Sauer back to touch the puck, takes a bump on an icing call, and they're all nose to nose here in a scoreless game on Sportsnet.
For you sports fans from outside of the States, ever wonder why are there so many commercials during these games? Well, unlike soccer games, as well as a certain number of other sports in other countries, companies in the US know people are tuning in to watch their favorite sports teams, and so they pay a pretty penny to television networks to air their ads. Meanwhile, in a sport like soccer, there's no pause in play other than during halftime, so MLS here remains an exception. But that's not to say soccer doesn't have its share of sponsors. Number 5, trades.
Okay, we just traded you. Okay, we traded you to the Indianapolis Colts. All right, so you okay?
I'm gonna call my grandma.
A common practice in North American sports is trading, a practice which involves one team giving one or more players to another team in exchange for another set of amounts of players.
Orlando
has traded the draft rights to Chris Webber to Golden State.
Add in the fact that teams that even exchange their draft picks and sometimes instances their own head coach, and you've got a slew of interesting scenarios.
San Diego Chargers and the New York Giants have exchanged their draft picks. Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers.
It's real.
While team swapping players is possible in certain sports leagues outside of the US, they rarely take place as it frequently overextends the process of a player being moved. It involves more negotiations, and unlike other leagues, a player's contract does not get moved. Frequently, one single trade can make or break a team, so the implications are tremendous.
Skip, they're willing to take the highest dead cap hit in NFL history, $22 million. They were willing to give up 2 first-rounders. Now they go 7 years without a first-round draft pick. They were willing to do that after they just gave a guy $134 million.
Number 4, salary cap.
So usually you can rely on stadium income and the TV deals. It's a very complicated formula.
While most teams remain discreet with how much money they generate or have in the bank, in North America, many sports league teams are subject to a salary cap, which refers to a limit on the amount they can spend on players who play for their roster, regardless of the revenue they generate.
This number is agreed upon by the league office and league players and is the same for each team, making for an equal playing field.
The only professional sports league in the US that's not subject to this rule is the MLB.
That means a baseball team with more capital can spend whatever they want on their players' contracts.
Although there are still rules and regulations each team must follow in this league, there's no limit on how much a team can spend on signing players. Number 3, the draft.
The NFL draft is officially open. The Cleveland Browns are on the clock.
In many sports outside of North America, professional teams will directly recruit and sign players out of junior or minor league clubs. While this is also commonplace for teams in the States, several teams participating in the country's most popular sports recruit players straight out of college.
And welcome to the National Football League, Bryce Young.
The worse the team performs during the season, the higher the chances of them getting a higher draft pick, allowing them to select a prospect who's declared for the draft of their choosing. Speaking of college,
the order of draft selection is determined by the reverse order of finish from the previous season. In order to keep the NFL as competitive as possible, the team with the worst record picks first in each round, with the Super Bowl champion picking last.
Number 2, college sports.
For the next 3 or 4 years, I will be attending the University of Florida.
Practically all universities around the world offer athletic programs. However, no country does it quite like the States. Universities across the country spend millions to develop their athletic programs. Not to mention the fact that they also earn big as well.
And this is something we've been looking at now for about a decade, and the numbers are growing every year, and they're going to keep growing. And we're going to see at the athletic level that these contributions and the money that teams are able to make by raising ticket prices, by raising concessions prices, are all going to continue to rise.
In 2021, it was reported that the NCAA, the highest division of collegiate sports, generated over $1 billion in revenue. Many people also tune in to watch the action as well. March Madness, anyone?
The NCAA brought in revenue more than $1 billion in 2018. But more than $972 million came directly from the March Madness TV deal and the NCAA's ticket sales.
Year after year, millions tune in to watch their favorite teams duke it out in collegiate basketball's most prestigious tournament. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, no promotions or relegations.
And Raiders in, Chargers out, Steelers in.
As many sports fans, especially those who follow soccer, are aware, relegation is the process by which a team will get demoted to a secondary division due to their performance during the past season. Meanwhile, promotion is when a team's performance results in them being promoted to play in a higher division.
Yeah, this is what we want to know. This is the last 5 seasons, the amount of points needed to stay in the Premier League. You can see the average is 33.8, so 34 games.
Although golf, to some extent, has begun implementing this practice with individual players, no other professional sports league in the United States or North America implements this system.
I don't know how you do it because, obviously there's financial, stipulations there, everything like that. But if they could figure out a way to do that, I think the league would become much more competitive. for sure.
If a team performs badly, they simply don't make it to the playoffs and remain in the same league and division the following season. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.